Mrs. Pernickety and Mrs. Pernickety liked each other a lot. But while Mrs. Pernickety is very particular, Mrs. Pernickety is not. When Mrs. Pernickety thought of her friend, she found she could never make sense. Why our own little house was so shiny and clean, and Pernickety's house such a mess. Now Mrs. Pernickety dressed very finely and wore her long hair in a plait, while Mrs. Pernickety had food down her dress and a tea cosy worn as a hat. What a curious pair, the people would say as they walked down the street into town. There's Mrs. Pernickety chatting away, and Pernickety wearing a frown. A nice cup of tea and a crossword to do, Pernickety couldn't want more. While Mrs. Pernickety shouted wrong answers, drank cherryade through a straw. Mrs. Pernickety's favourite hobby was knitting nice jumpers to suit her. But knitting was too picky for Mrs. Pernickety. She much preferred riding her scooter. Then one afternoon, at 1:45, something terrible was to occur that would change how things worked for the couple of friends, that would cause an incredible stir. Mrs. Pernickety was meant to be going to Pernickety's house for her tea, when a plump pigeon plopped on her tea cosy hat and she scooted straight into a tree. As the people ran over and slowly helped Mrs. Pernickety onto her knees, there were stars in her eyes and she kept crying, "Please, get me Mrs. Pernickety, please." In 10 minutes flat, Mrs. Pernickety quickly arrived on the scene. She took her first aid kit and put a big plaster on Mrs. Pernickety's knee. She said, "Dearest Pernickety, please be more careful. Now you must surely see. While you must wear a helmet when riding your scooter, and a tea cosy warms up the tea." So the very next day, Mrs. Pernickety took her best friend into town, and she bought her a bright purple cycling helmet to wear when she scooted around. The day after that, Pernickety cleaned all the pigeon plop off of her hat to give to Pernickety to put on her teapot. Now, what do you think about that?